This is Paul from Market Square Heroes. Welcome to Pull Up a Chair with Kingdom of Madness. Let's be honest, you're playing the songs from a former band.
Yeah.
Does that make you a tribute band or a covers band, or what would you describe yourself as?
Well, I don't see any point in arguing. I mean, the way I look at it is, there's 5 guys on stage that have shared a legacy with Magnum in one way or another and at different lengths. I mean, Richard, the original keyboard player with Magnum, and I did a short stint for 36 years, 19 albums. There's only one album that we haven't played on. If that's a tribute band in people's eyes, it doesn't bother me. To me, it's a tribute to some great songs, you know, that don't get played. And that was the whole purpose of it, you know. So, and by the response we've had on the first couple of shows, people have enjoyed it so much, hearing some of those older songs. So, I mean, Richard and I were there at the very concept of this, and one of the things we totally agreed on, and do jump in and tell me if I'm wrong, dear, but, you know, we haven't created this to be in competition with Magnum. There's only one Magnum, only ever will be one Magnum, you know. So I wanted to try and achieve songs that they weren't doing, and also go out playing live when they were in the studio doing an album. In other words, not give the public, or make them have to make a choice of who to see. We're not here to compete. We're here to play some great songs that don't get played anymore. That's the whole purpose of it. I think that's
fairly succinct, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people have asked us since we put this idea together and it came into reality, you know, especially, you know, the likes of Neil Murray and Chris Uzi, you know. I mean, I've known Chris and played with Chris live, you know, several times before in the past, and I love his voice. I love his range. You can't replace Bob Catley. There will only ever be one Bob Catley, and Bob Catley at his peak I'm so proud to have been associated with, which is why we got Chris in. He stamps his own thing on it. We're not trying to copy in any way. Now, a tribute band would be doing all the arm gestures and everything else, yeah. In all fairness. Chris does none of that, you know. Chris sings it how he sings, which to me is fantastic. It's a fantastic tribute to the songs. So if people want to call it tribute, I don't mind. As long as they enjoy what we're doing, that's the important thing. You'd like to add something to that, dear?
Well, going back to the material that we do, if you look on our Facebook page, there's always somebody asking if we can do so-and-so track from way back. So that's what we do. That's what went down really well.
I've not seen the set list yet.
And we don't do anything post. Well, what's the latest?
The last album that we do anything from is Sleepwalking.
Okay.
So in other words, we're doing stuff from the concept where Richard was there from 1978, from the first release. I mean, it's just 76.
Well,
until the band had their first split, which was 1995, when the band known as Magnum then split up. So we don't do any songs from after that period, you know. So we're trying to, you know, a good song is a good song. Tony Clark is a great songwriter, and when I was still in the band, I was sad that we weren't doing so many of these songs that so many people requested. Now I understand he's got to write new stuff, but there's some songs there that are just classics, and they'll always be that way, you know, and for various reasons they don't get played, but we're playing them.
We are, and I don't think I've seen a single request for any of the later stuff.
No, well, no, because we made it clear though that we didn't want to do that, you know, so, you know, we're covering the first 10 albums.
Yeah.
I remembered.
Plenty to
So,
choose from.
as I say, that's how it is, that's what it is. If people get satisfaction and a little bit of self-pleasure by calling us a tribute band, then fine.
The last 2 gigs have sold out.
Yeah.
The people that are turned, do you think we're turning up for a little bit of nostalgia?
Totally.
Because sort of a famous Scottish man said to me the other week, we are not a One Direction age anymore.
Nor are we.
But do you think it's the fact that the songs are so good, or do you think we just because we like a little trip down?
Well,
No,
like I said, I can't give Tony enough tribute as a songwriter and lyricist, you know, and songs like Tall Ships I think are masterpieces, you know. I put them up there with some of the best songs I've ever heard, you know, so I can't give enough tribute there. And it's a great thrill to be playing them with such a good drummer, Mickey Barker, who was there in the concept of nearly all of these songs, apart from the first 4 or 5 albums, you know. And so that's what we wanted, that's what we're doing, and we seem to be pleasing people so far.
So when you come up with the idea, did everybody come and say, oh yeah, we'll jump on that, or did you struggle to get people on board?
No, not at all. Richard was involved with a very successful band called Phenomena, and we've been toying with the idea for a few years to do stuff together, you know, and I'll let you explain, because it's all me at the moment.
You carry on, mate. I'm knackered.
You've got a show to do.
Yeah, we've got a show to do.
All right, well, I'm younger than you. So, one thing led to another, and we were visiting the old songs, and we said, how about if we do this, you know? And this was this year, make it clear, the last thing on my mind, and I promise faithfully, when I left Magnum, the last thing I thought I'd ever do is to play any of those songs again, let alone, you know, with 4 or 5 people that, you know, I like the word legacy, but share a legacy with Magnum, you know. I've never even dreamt about it, you know. I mean, there's a lot of sadness of leaving, but, you know, a lot of pride of having been there. So, no, it wasn't preconceived. And I said Richard and I said to each other, I said, let me give Mickey a call. Because obviously Mickey was in the band for over 10 years. And certainly during the absolute peak of Magnum, you know, NECs, Wembleys and, you know, multi-Hammersmiths, etc. So I called Mickey and he said, absolutely not.
It's not wrong.
And I said, well,
You said, go on.
yeah, I did. I said, go on, I'll give you a quid. And
I said, all right.
and I said, well, all right, well, have a think about it and I'll give you a call in a day or two. And my next call then was to a great friend of all of them for a long time, and quite frankly, one of the best bass players this country's ever produced, Neil Murray.
Yeah.
And it was sort of, Neil said, well, is Mickey doing it? And I said, well, he will if you will. And before I know it, they said, in principle, yes. Okay. I've obviously been working with Lawrence Archer in Grand Slam up until like a few weeks ago, actually, recording a new album.
Right.
And so Lawrence would always be my first choice guitarist. He's just such a great player. And indeed, when Tony was taking him in 1984, Lawrence did the whole tour with Magnum.
Okay.
So he's played with Magnum, you know, so there's a connection there, which left a huge question then, singers. And I racked my brains and I kept coming back to one of the best singers I've ever worked with, Chris Huxley.
Okay.
Well, I'd sort of got Mickey and Neil in place, and Lawrence indeed. So I gave Chris a call, and he nodded a bit. But nobody said no straight away. And within a couple of days, everybody, in principle, had agreed on it. How much, you know? And everybody was up for it, you know.
So you've got a band together, and you've got 10 albums. How do you go about choosing which songs to play? Was it lucky dip, or did you always say, oh, my favourite
We
is-"
asked the fans.
We had a referendum.
And I want another one.
Yeah. We didn't believe their votes, so we want another one.
Yeah, well, we didn't agree with it. So no, Sue, who works with us, I won't mention any more names than that, started it actually. She put, what songs would you like to hear if you had the chance? No hints that we were doing this really. And before you know it, we got a top 20. So we knew we could only do maybe 16 or 17 songs for a show, you know, which is about an hour and 3/4. And so I bounced that off. I told Mickey what the list was. Mickey's really good at putting a show together from a tempo point of view, you know, what to start with and what to end with, which is always a good point. And looked at the tempos, and Mickey changed it about 6 times. Not the running orders, and maybe 1 or 2 songs. And Chris had got a few comments about the songs as well. And there's one song that he didn't feel was particularly suited to him. But of course I must mention that I got Mo Birch in the band that sang on several Magnum albums and indeed toured with Magnum as well, a beautiful voice and a talented percussionist. And actually I think it was Chris's idea. He said, why doesn't Mo sing that one? So we tried it and it sounded great. So, you know, I thought that was charming of him to say, I don't feel that's a song that I can give everything to. Mo did it and it sounded great. So, so there's the 7th member of the band. So we ain't in it for the money.
All these songs I've heard from the 80s, Red and Rock, Lorelei, Welcome to the Garden Party.
Yeah.
Do you prefer the big festivals, or do you prefer the smaller venues such as tonight?
It's a different thing, you see. All the times I've done festivals with Magnum, we've invariably had a new album out. So Lorelei, for instance, I think we were on the Vigilante tour. Mickey will probably remember, was it about that time? It was great to play festivals like that. You're playing to a lot of people, you've got a chance to play to a lot of new people. So I find that an adventure, you know, a challenge. Playing on your normal tour, you've won before you start. You know, I don't mean to say we get complacent, but a festival's more of a challenge, you know. So great memories of those, you know, Dinklesbuell, Lorelei, you know, and indeed Reddington, Donington, and all of the ones that we've done. So I enjoy festivals for that reason.
The 85 Donington line was superb. I think.
Yeah.
You know, it was great.
Was that the Whitesnake was ZZ Top?
It was Easy Top.
Okay, yeah. I remember.
So, yeah. You line up your dates for next year. You've done that quite well. Why Butlins?
Well, I like to be beside the seas.
Like the chalets, they're country.
I'm gutted.
It's a chance to play to a lot of people. I've done it before. I've done it with, I did it with Snake Charmer. But I've also done it with Magnum, and it gets you to a lot of new people as well. And our agent Gary Carter got in touch, and lo and behold, they jumped at the chance of getting us, you know. So, and as I say, we've chosen the year 2019 when Magnum are primarily, as far as I know, recording a new album, so won't be touring. So we're taking everything that's offered to us that's more than 30 quid.
Maybe we'll see you a bootleg ball and bobbler then a couple of months later, that'd be cool. Right, let's have a little bit of a fun question. It's Christmas season. Sitting down for Christmas dinner, you're allowed to invite one musical guest, past, present. Who would you have?
After you, I know my answer.
I think I don't. Oh no! Sorry. Can you scratch that?
Cool.
Vegetarian, you know.
Very difficult question.
Especially when half the band are sitting around.
It's all right, I won't be upset, I don't want to come.
Okay, well I don't do Christmas dinner, so that's a bit of a daft one, really. Go on, Mike, you must have some.
Jeff Beck.
My choice as well. We'll share him.
I mean, I just think he's the most original guitarist ever, and a jolly nice chap. So I'd have Jeff, because I have had the honour and pleasure of meeting him and indeed being on the same stage. And he was a thoroughly nice guy, so I know he wouldn't be a disappointment at the dinner table. There's my choice.
That's cool. Christmas crackers all around.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Come on.
Well, it's difficult to say who you would invite. It's much easier from my point of view to say who you wouldn't want to share Christmas dinner because there's a lot of those people around.
You're not allowed to say.
But I won't mention any names at all.
Just do.
Well, I answered it.
Well, that was last week. So, right, gentlemen, I'm going to let you go because you need to go. and
Okay.
do something. This has been Paul from Market Square Heroes. We'll pull up a chair with Kingdom of Madness. We'll see you on the road.
Thanks for having us. Cheers. Thanks.
Thank you.
Happy Christmas.